We're live in the Santan Valley. Tom D. Camillo along with Joe Carrero, and this is CAClive, and it is Thursday morning, a glorious Thursday morning here in the Valley, and I'm back, Joe. I was gone last week.
I know. I remember.
I was on a little vacation out in California, and
how was it?
It was good. It was nice weather, and it was beautiful. I was in Newport Beach, and it was beautiful area. Just a couple of days.
You get to go to all the terrible places, huh?
Yeah, it's a shame, right? But I know last week you guys had a really an interesting show with the chief, and Dan Bush was here, and I heard you got calls from around the country.
We did. We got some calls,
and that's terrific.
They saw you weren't here, so they figured we better call in now. You know what I mean? Because they're afraid of you, Tom. You know that.
Well, hey, we got to do what we got to do.
The chief was a pretty fun guy.
He is. So it's. But today we're going to talk with Barrington Campbell, who has joined us from Central Arizona College, and we're going to talk about the learning support services that CAC offers. And Barrington, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We're glad you made the journey here. And Barrington was actually a CAC student athlete. At one time, a track athlete, and the program that Barrington oversees is one of those. We've talked about it, Joe, over the course of many of the shows about retention and what it takes to keep students in, because you do lose a lot of students during that especially that first semester, for a variety of reasons. And there's different programs CAC has, but with what Barrington does, it's really about having the success of the students. So talk a little bit, just describe what is learning support services. What is kind of the overview of that?
Well, the overview of learning support services is to assist students in all capacity of learning. It's not just the content-specific area, but also help guide them through that roadmap to be successful in college.
Is it without a roadmap, do students struggle?
Sometimes, if they don't have that support system, and research shows that when a student is engaged and have a support system, they're more likely to succeed than if they do not.
Now, I want to take you back before we kind of get into the nuts and bolts of the program. You were a track athlete at CAC. Talk a little bit about what you experienced as a student, and then you kind of bring that when you're dealing with students in terms of the support that you had, and how you kind of say, okay, I did this, here's where our program can help students.
Well, when I was here at Central Arizona College, I started in 1990 and finished in 91. And as an athlete, your time is basically spent within doing coursework, and of course being on the track, and of course going to meets, and that eats up a lot of your time. Now with the support system, you have your coach, you have other athletes, you have the instructors, and now we have the learning support system that will basically bring all those together. Plus you have trained tutors, you have trained staff that will assist individual student, and this is not just only catered to just athletes, it's all students who work with us.
Let's talk about some of the actual components. What are some of the services that the students can get help with?
Well, mostly they can get help with the content specific area if they're struggling in, and we recognize that not only if the student is struggling, we do have students who are having A's and B in the classroom. See, back in the days, in Plato, Aristotle, stuff like that, they used to have tutors, but only the privileged could be tutored.
Oh, really?
Right. So now, in today's age, now everyone can get tutored. And, of course, CAC offered free tutoring. So sometimes students who are getting A's and B's, they'll come to us, and for us to be sounding boards to bounce ideas off us. And of course, you have those students who are basically having a difficult time in their classes. They will also come to us, and we'll try to help them move beyond that. We're one of the few businesses who wean our customers from us. Most business,
it's an interesting concept, actually.
Most businesses like repeat customers. Right. That's how they make their money. And, of course, advertise for new customers. What we do when we work with these students, we try to have them become more independent, more self-directed learning. So they'll take their own learning. And whatever we teach them beyond the content-specific area, like learning skills, like time management, test-taking strategies, memory improvement, things like those. They will take that beyond just where they are, whether they're a freshman or sophomore, and move it forward.
When some of those skills like time management, how important is that at college? It seems like a ridiculous question, but in your experience, obviously, that's probably one of the biggest challenges, because it's just not managing going to class and doing their homework. It's project management, it's working, it's the social activities, knowing when and when not to get involved with things. It's got to be a big challenge for college students.
Especially for freshmen and sophomore. See, the highest dropout rate is within the freshman, sophomore level. But a lot of students, when they come in, they take a few classes, say they take 15 credits. So that's about, 5 classes, thereabout. And so they'll come one day, they'll do 2 classes, come another day to do 3, and then they're free throughout the time. So if their rule of thumb states, although it doesn't exist all the time, but rule of thumb states, if you're taking 1 credit hour, you need about 2 hours to study for that 1 credit hour. So some students doesn't realize that when they're studying or when they're working on their course. So they'll basically procrastinate like many students do. And, they don't understand the magnitude of each class a lot of times, especially, again, when they're freshmen and sophomore. So we help them manage their time. And time management is not militaristic, like you have to do this, this, and this, and this. Case in point, we had a student who, when we were developing her time management program, we look at her priorities and what she needed most. And what she stated was she needed sleep. She loves sleep. If she doesn't get her sleep, she can't function. And I asked her, how many hours of sleep do you necessarily need? She says 10. But that's her, But we worked around it where we know that if she gets her sleep and if her mindset is settled to where she gets in, fall into place.
So do you look at something like that? That's really interesting, because if you look at something like that, would you actually say a student slept 8 hours, and then would you help her schedule take naps? Does that help? I mean, and I'm not being facetious, but you kind of look at those things. There might have students that need to clear their mind. That I have a daughter that's very academically driven. She needs we need to give her stuff. We don't advocate like a lot of video games, but sometimes she just needs that to do nothing because of the way she's wired.
Of course.
It's funny you say that. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just realized yesterday, I was starting to forget things, and I started to actually notice that, and it started to scare me. I'm like, oh my God. Well, for the past 3 weeks, I've been I usually watch movies at night because I like to watch movies. But for the first movie, I kind of pick a crappy one that I can read while I'm watching the movie. Mm-hmm. And now I have noticed after a couple 3 weeks, maybe it's because my mind's working more. I'm not forgetting anymore. Mm-hmm. I mean, so.
So those kind of skills, like what Joe talks about,
stimulation.
Just
maybe.
It's more than just the academic part.
Of course, you have to have downtime, like everything else. Nothing goes on forever, or you get burnt out. Like a finely tuned trained athlete, they don't go out on the track or on the court or on the field and train 24/7 because they'll get burnt out. It's the same as academics. When you take enough that you can absorb, you synthesize that information, and you learn to put it in your long-term memory so you can recall that information whenever needed.
Do you work with students that have challenges such as maybe dyslexia or those kind of needs where they're maybe they struggle in a certain area? Do you just to kind of help them tailor make their schedules with that?
Yes, we do, and we work with Amy Crimin and the special needs department so that we can better serve those students.
So it's really sort of this whole approach to bringing in the students. It seems like there's a lot of one-on-one interaction with the students.
Mostly. We do have that, but we also have group tutoring and group activities in which students learn from one each other.
Do you find that when you have a group of students and they're learning from each other, that sometimes they retain it better? because others are doing it? I don't know, is peer pressure or just peer acceptance?
Well, it's their learning style, their preferred learning. Some students, learn by doing, kinesthetic learning. Some people learn by, seeing things. Some people learn by, watching, and some people learn by hearing. And they have their preferred learning styles. When they come to us, we do that initial introduction and interview with each student, we'll recognize what that is. It's like a snowball effect. Once we start using a pedagogy of which they learn best, then once they start feeling more confident, then we exercise the area that they're not so good at, instead of starting them being frustrated at the beginning. So it's like a snowball effect. Say you learn best visually, and you go into a classroom that the instructor lectures often. You're going to find it a hard time to absorb that information. What we'll do, we'll work with you with the information through your preferred learning style. And then over time, we try to have you exercise those other learning styles. Not that you don't learn from them, but those are not your preferred. And therefore, we'll help you become a more rounded student that you can go into different classes and be successful.
When you have students, say the student that learns, and I was one of like hands-on, of actually doing it.
Kinesthetic learning.
Yeah, that was something I was better at. And if you have a student that has a specific area, to try to get them early in their college career to get those kind of classes so they don't get frustrated and kind of go through, you lose kind of the retention, and then you gradually get them in and, like you said, work on the other aspects. Is that something you guys look at and try to help them?
Some of those things we kind of look at, but it all comes down to the instructor. What the instructor's preferred pedagogy is.
Okay.
And oftentimes we're not totally aware of all the instructors, because you do have new professors that comes on board. So we take the time out to meet them, talk with them, see what they, how they teach, and then therefore we can better serve the student.
It probably also depends on the course of study they're taking. Some,
yes,
they might not be good at that learning style, but that's what they want to do. So how about students that are older? We talked about freshmen, sophomores, probably a lot of 18, 19, 20-year-olds. But if you have a returning student, which CAC has a lot of students that are older, what kind of services and how do you help them?
Well, we try to catch them from the get-go. We work with the advising department through Janie Atterbury's department, and we offer what we call a brush-up. A lot of students who haven't been in college for some time, sometimes they haven't practiced, the academic field of learning. So we kind of catch them. We do a brush-up with them, have them exercise some of those things that they have forgotten, and therefore they may or may not bypass some of the classes that they would pretty much dominate if they were just placed in those classes. So we try to get them from the get-go, do some brush-ups, and a lot of them just need confidence. They're nervous because they haven't been in the classroom for some time, and they will come to us and we'll, again, interview each of them, learn their specific needs, and work with them individually.
Would you encourage, if there's listeners out there right now, and maybe there's somebody that's late 20s, 30s, late 30s, early 40s, and they're looking for career change, they've never been to college, would you encourage them to come talk with you, with your department first, maybe not even first, but just make sure you made contact before you start, because you could help? Of
course. I would encourage, doesn't matter what college you go to, I would definitely go and see what the Learning Support Department has to offer. Because that is not, like I said, it's not a crutch. This is never, intended to be.
It's about help.
Sometimes it's just a sounding board. Am I going the right direction? Like I said, we have a lot of students who are getting A's who are, I'm just going to talk to somebody who has I think has a little bit more knowledge of the subject area and see where I'm at.
It's really a great service at CAC to be able to do this. I can imagine, and I have some family members, 40s, that have gone back to CAC for the first time, and their biggest thing was they didn't think, they had no idea. They're scared to death to walk into a classroom, just had no idea. And this kind of program really helps.
Yes, it does, and that's what we try to give students. We try to give them that confidence, and like I said, little success breeds big success. And once they're having that success, because the percentage of students who, what they call non-traditional students who come back, they're very successful.
How much interaction do you have with the parents of, say, 18, 19, 20-year-olds? Do parents come in and kind of bring their students in, their children? I know you have that kind of age group because they are considered adults, but do you get calls from parents?
We do get calls, not a lot. We work a lot more with the staff and the instructors, the professors at the college, in trying to meet the needs of the students.
And we do have a lot of parents that listen to the show. If they have students that are coming to, kids that are coming up to the college age, what kind of message would you encourage them to give to their children?
Take all the help you can get,
Yeah.
Because a lot of us back in the days when, this wasn't so widespread or so available, learning support, tutoring, success skills workshops and stuff like that weren't so available. We kind of struggled in areas. We had to find out how to, get there. Here, now you have someone that can guide you in how to be successful.
You're listening to CAClive. Tom D. Camillo along with Joe Carrero. Visiting with us is Barrington Campbell from the CAC Learning Support Services. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more about the different type of programs and help that students can get at Central Arizona College. You're listening to CAC Live on CAClive.com.
Our family pets are such a big part of our lives. That's why Kelly's Critter Clips of Queen Creek and Sun Lakes has been providing pet grooming services for over 10 years. Your dog's comfort is very important to us, so we take the time to treat your pet with care, love, and professional attention it deserves. We welcome any size and breed and feature shampoo and conditioning, styling, flea and tick dips, ear cleaning, nail trimming, and so many other services that will leave your pet looking good and smelling good and feeling great, all at an affordable price. Located in Queen Creek and Sun Lakes, call now for an appointment, 480-655-5066. Kelly's Critter Clips.
Are you planning on starting a new business? In this economy, as a new business, you know you'll need to watch every single dollar. Before you make any decisions on phone service, call Zentris Communications at 1-877-ZENTRIS. That's 1-877-936-8727.
Santan Motorsports, located in Queen Creek, specializes in off-road ATVs, dirt bikes, UTVs, side-by-sides, street bikes, and provides performance work. Santan Motorsports is your local dealership for off-road parts and accessories. They provide and pride themselves on excellent customer service and a staff that understands all aspects of the off-road business. Come in and browse our dealership and find those parts and accessories you've been looking for. Check our website, santanmotorsports.com, for monthly specials as well as used equipment. Santan Motorsports, your one-stop shop for sales, service, and knowledgeable staff. Located in Queen Creek on Power Road and Santan Boulevard, or call 480-988-0580. Santan Motorsports, we're here for you. Are you having plumbing or septic problems? No worries. Call Cartwright's Queen Creek Plumbing and Septic Service. Been in the Valley since 1996. Family owned and operated. Proudly serving East Valley and surrounding areas. With a full range of services from drain cleaning, septic tank pumping, general maintenance and repairs, inspections for the sale of your home. They provide excellent and courteous service for all your plumbing and septic needs. We're not satisfied till you are satisfied. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Call today. Cartwright's Queen Creek Plumbing and Septic Service. Contact Denise at 480-987-8051. That's 480-987-8051.
All right, you're listening to KQCK radio station. This is Joe, and we have CAC Live radio show going on right now, your official radio show for Central Arizona College. So make sure you stay tuned. We've got some great info coming your way, but we'd love you to converse and chat with us here, and all you have to do is, if you're listening rather than watching, just jump on the homepage and hit the live chat button, and that'll bring up some live chat. You can converse with us there, or if you're watching, just go ahead and chat with us. We love to hear what you have to say. We welcome all comments and questions. If you want to call in, we can take your call, 480-745-1033. We only have 31 lines, so, give it a shot. You might get through.
We're visiting with Barrington Campbell, the Director of Learning Support Services at Central Arizona College, and we're talking about one of the subjects we want to talk about is the academic testing that your department supplies, and we have actually a list here that we're looking at. But let's talk about some of them overall. Kind of explain the testing, how it works for students, and then we can get into some of the different types of testing that you guys offer.
Well, most of the testing we do are course testing, and instructors who teach online or hybrid classes ask their students to come to the testing center, and we proctor those tests.
So that can be, with the number of online classes, that's a lot of tests that could take place.
That's a serious number of testing that happens, and of course you can imagine midterm and finals, we're bombarded with students.
So where do the students go on the different campuses and centers to do this kind of stuff?
Well, you have designated area for the testing. For instance, at our Signal Peak campus in the O200 building, we have a nice facility that houses the testing center, and students can either call and set up an appointment. The instructors will, of course, give us the information, and we have it there for students. They could just show up with their ID, and we let them in. We're going into the new building on our SMC campus, which is going to be opening in this fall. And at AVC, we're in the library. Again, these are housing of our testing centers, and we do have proctors at the different sites. So
people can, at some of the centers like the Santan Center and Coolidge Center, those kind of places, you don't have like the big facilities at the campuses, but there's people there to help.
Yes, and we do have the designated areas also.
Oh, do you? Oh,
yes.
Okay.
For the Santan area, once you walk into the main building.
There is the lab there, that's right. the computer lab there, that's right. What do you actually test for? I'm looking at your list here. You do testing for nursing and health careers?
Right. Those are the HESA testing that students has to take those tests before they can get into the program.
And then you have, explain what CLEP testing is.
CLEP test is a test that students will take to, say for instance, you have a Spanish-speaking student,
okay,
and they want to test out of, say, Spanish 101 because they're versed in the art of speaking Spanish. Then they would basically take the test to show their mastery of that test, and so they can give the results, turn the results in, and if they pass, they will be given those credits.
And then you I'm assuming you work with Ronnie Douglas pretty closely with GED testing?
Yes, Ronnie Douglas, she runs the GED program throughout the district, and she offers those classes. And so those students, once they're finished with those classes, they will come to the testing center and we'll conduct those tests.
Well, the GED program has grown tremendously at Central Arizona College, and that's got to be pretty rewarding when those students come in, take that test, and then pass that test. It really changed their lives.
If anyone should ever gone to a GED graduation, they'll see how excited these students are, and we are proud, very proud of them, to be a part of our program.
It was a packed house this year in the gym while the Penn Center was down. So it's amazing. There's a lot of them, and then you have CAC course testing. Is that some of the online testing you talked about
right,
before?
Right, with the instructors, yes. And we do offer testing for the universities, also, and colleges. Say a student is at a satellite campus. Say they're enrolled in a class in North Carolina or Virginia, for that matter, anywhere throughout the country, and they're living here in
Pinal County.
In Pinal County, then of course we can conduct those testing.
Wow! So it's even just it's a whole community sort of service for the people of Pinal County. Let's talk a little bit about proctors or about tutors. You have tutors stationed all over, but you're always looking for tutors. Talk a little bit about how that works and you know, what students need to do to actually meet with a tutor.
Well, we are always looking for great tutors. A lot of our tutors, and they range from basically people who are retired. A lot of them are retired professors, instructors, teachers at the K-12 program, and we have tutors all the way to the students. So we do have peer tutoring. Students who are basically in programs at the college. However, to be a tutor, you have to have at least 30 credit hours have done 30 credit hours within the college system and have at least a 3.0 GPA.
If you're a student.
If you're a student, right. And of course, if you are, a retiree, your transcript has to dictate as such.
In terms of the tutoring, what kind of expertise do you look for? General expertise, or can it be very specific because of the type of program CAC has?
Well, it has to be specific. It got to be content specific. So if we have a math tutor, we'll definitely hire someone who is very versed in math. A writing tutor, definitely versed in writing, in the art of English and stuff like that. For a student to get to a tutor, they can either call the Learning Center, and of course, we offer tutor throughout Pinal County. So it doesn't matter what campus that you call, they can always direct you to the center, what is closest to you, so students can get the help they need. Or they can do walk-ins. They can come on in, and if there's a free tutor at the time, they'll get the service that they need.
Is it better to schedule if they can, to kind of guarantee so they don't have to wait?
Always better to schedule, because you own that time. When you come in, you're taking the chance to say whether a tutor is going to be available or not. But if you call, you can set up a time that's going to be beneficial for you, beneficial for the tutor. And if you know the tutor that you want, you'll be more likely to get that tutor.
Students have success with, I guess they probably gravitate toward the same tutor if they get comfortable, if they can.
Right. If they're comfortable with a given tutor, yes, they'll work with that tutor as much as possible. However, sometimes that tutor may be, tied up with appointments and can't get them, so they may work with other tutors.
Is there a cost the students have to pay for the tutoring?
Oh, no, this is free.
That's amazing.
I know.
That is absolutely amazing, because there's a lot. I remember if I went to a tutor in college, I had to go pay somebody to do that.
Yes, that's what's so great about CAC, Central Arizona College. We try to give the students the services to succeed, and this is a great program that any student can walk out of any class or on campus into the center and get the help they need.
Now, if a student signs up for tutoring time, I imagine that, especially that there's no charge for it, that you really encourage them to make sure they come. Like, you don't want students just to not show up, because it's kind of be respectful of, this is a service that's out there for everybody. We want to give it to you, but make sure you commit to it if you're going to come.
Yeah, students who do not keep their appointment, we will have that conversation to let them know, because once they schedule an appointment, they're tying up others not to have that appointment. Right. And so when they miss an appointment here or there, they'll come in and they'll talk to me or one of the learning support specialists, and we let them understand why it's imperative or important for them to keep their appointment, or to call in ahead of time if they're not going to be there.
When you talk with the tutors, do they see sort of the improvement in the student?
Oh yes, and those are wonderful feelings. Those are
That's probably why everybody does that, right?
Right. Because they always say teachers, don't get paid enough or whatever, but our payment is seeing the satisfaction or the behaviors of students when they're getting it, that aha moment, and we feel like, wow, awesome.
Make a difference.
We're kind of selfish in that manner, because we want to train the students to be successful, because they're going to be the ones that run the society when we retire. So if we give them the best training possible, we know that our future is going to be successful.
You're listening to CAC Live. Tom D. Camillo, Joe Carrera. We're visiting with Barrington Campbell, and I think we got a couple of questions on some of the service with CAC. Joe?
One was from Marion Mesa, who said, what do you pay tutors, and who do I contact to talk to, because she's been a tutor quite a long time and would like a job. Well, obviously, I'm sure you don't discuss the pay on the air.
Right. We pay tutors according to their academic levels and experiences. So basically, if you have if you're in college and working on your AA degree, if you have your AA degree, you get another rate. If you have your bachelor's or your master's degree, that's the pay rate.
She'd been a math tutor for 15 years, so there's the background there.
So if she's interested, does she go through the HR, or should she contact you guys first?
She can call us first. Our number, 520-494-4644. 5570.
Okay, it's 520-494-5570, and you can call, and if you're interested in being a tutor.
Mary from Mesa, thank you. I hope that helps you, and good luck. The other one is from Dave in Coolidge, and he said, "Sing something for us. This is awesome. Didn't know you were going to be on." Dave from the club.
They know you're karaoke.
Hey, Dave, they're coming out of the woodwork.
Well, my agent told me that if I'm going to do something public, I need to get paid for it. So I have to pass on that one.
It's the karaoke background, right?
I suspect so.
That's
Thanks,
great.
Dave.
It's a tremendous program at Central Arizona College, and CAC over the course since we've started the show, we've learned about the number of services, especially a lot at no cost to students to really to have the success. The tutors are available throughout the district, and I think at the Saddlebrook Center said that they're available. You do that online or video?
Yes, we do.
Like ITV?
You're right. We do that via a tutor station. And if a student goes down, say, Saddlebrook, and we do have it throughout the district and needs that help, we can do video conferencing in helping that student. And we do online tutoring. And we're working right now with our math area being synchronous tutoring. So they call for an appointment and we can both be online helping the students. For the writing, we're getting there. However, we have a policy where if a student submit an assignment, a writing assignment within 48 hours, we'll return answer their questions. Our report this spring, we were 96% hitting 48 hours.
Wow.
That's awesome. Our goal is to go 36 hours. So we want to drop that by 12. This spring, we were 90%. We haven't started it yet, but we looked at the data, and we were 90% successful in returning student assignment within that 36 hours.
What does it take to hit those targets? You just need committed tutors. You need to find available people.
And you need a process that works. Right now we're getting that process down. I think once it hits to about 98%, then we can go on live and say, okay, yes, we will go 36 hours. But I feel more comfortable when we hit that, while we're not doing it yet, is once we hit that 98%, we can say at least we're 2% hitting, hunting for that last 2%, getting there.
Is there any one field coming up for the fall semester that you really need tutors for?
Well, in the math and science area, we are going to need, tutoring.
Nice. Mary.
There we go. And, of course, in the writing area. And we do our writing across the disciplines.
It's what happens with some specific, if there's some of the specialty programs we have, is tutoring available through your area, or do they kind of hit their professors? I'm thinking... not some of the general education stuff, but maybe some stuff that's more specific.
So if you say something like...
heavy equipment, nursing, some of the really those kind of...
Well, one of the things that we do, they will, if they want, they can start with us, or they can start with their professors. If we don't have the designated tutors for those areas, we'll go find one to assist the student.
So that's an added kind of bonus. So people if they need help, they come to you.
Yes. And, we work with the instructors. A lot of times the instructors come to the Learning Center and assist their students. Right now, even Title 5 that we just got the grant for, they are having tutors in their the preceptors are now coming over and offering their services. Also with the STEM.
What are the hours for tutors? I know a couple people that have done it online, but are they available late at night, in the mornings?
They vary. However, we offer tutoring as the centers and campuses are open. For argument's sake, at the Signal Peak campus for this summer, we go from 7 till 8. So we'll offer tutoring from 7 a.m. in the morning until 8 p.m. at night.
Okay.
And I think that's a wide range of times. ABC, we go from 8 till 6. And SMC, because of the build-out and the remodeling of our program, we vary. So we do testing, say, from 8 till 9 p.m. Monday through Thursday. And Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we go from So Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday we go from 8 to 5, and Wednesday 8 to 9.
Joe, you got another caller.
Yes, we did. We had Shelly from Nebraska, and actually this is a pretty good question here. Would like to know if she can be an online tutor only. She has a master's degree, and she worked for SMSU doing online tutoring for quite a while until they disbanded the program.
For right now, all of our tutors are we do online out of the campuses. So at this time, we don't have tutors at different places. You have to be within the county at the centers.
So I would just keep in touch, and if things expand and that changes, keep that in mind.
That sounds like a natural type of expansion,
right?
Eventually,
yes.
there.
And we're growing because we're a homegrown online environment, and we use of course Blackboard as our platform, and we're growing as such.
We're all homegrown out here, Shelly. So thank you for calling from Nebraska out there, and just make sure you just keep in touch with our program, because I think in the near future it could happen.
Well,
yes,
I think
yes.
when you look at the growth, we're looking at having a groundbreaking sometime this fall for the new Santan campus. The SMC campus up in Apache Junction is going to open up here in this fall, and the Maricopa campus will be that first stage will be done by next summer. Mm-hmm. There's going to be expansion, and we may need to rethink
right.
a lot of what
once you become stagnant in your thinking process, that's when you're starting to fail. Yeah. You have to have an open mind, and you have to grow with what's happening around you.
Yeah, Barrington, when you look at the tutoring programs that institutions had, and then you throw in the online, was there a real big culture shift or change when that happened? I mean, it had to be.
Oh, yes. Research shows that the preferred learning, or tutoring environment is usually like face-to-face. Right. People like that. They like the immediate feedback. They like looking at the nonverbal responses of students, and students as of tutors. We like to see if they're getting it or not, or whether they're just telling us that they get it. So the online environment provided a very unique challenge for us to make sure that what we're giving students, we're not overhelping students. We're not doing their work for them. We're not editing their paper. We're making sure that they grow and to be able to tackle, like I said, still become an independent, self-directed learner.
What makes for a good tutor? What kind of skills do you look at?
Well, we of course we look at their course, what they've done, their course experience. But we also look at, is this person kind? Is this person welcoming? Is this person what do you call it?
Have a good rapport with the students.
They have to have good rapport. They have to basically be able to wait on a student and be able to take something that's complex and bring it down to the student's level where the student can understand. Be able to synthesize that information. They have to be patient. They have to know empathy or sympathy. So it's a slew of characteristics that we look at when we're interviewing staff to become tutors.
I kind of look at my background in writing, and I think I would struggle with tutoring is I'd read something and have to stop myself from fixing it for them. And I'm sure that's a challenge because I'm used to editing and making changes, saying, oh, we'll do this. And that would sort of defeat the purpose a little bit of teaching them.
Yes, because we do Socratic questioning. So it's a little bit challenging for the students at times, but it does help in the long run.
Joe, you had another?
I do. Our phones are lighting up pretty good here. Gianna from Casa Grande wants to know, is there a volunteer program that a student like herself who cannot afford a tutor, therefore one would be appointed for free?
Again, our program is free. So all she has to call is the number 520-494-5570, and we would work with her in getting her a tutor, and it's free.
And you know what, Janet? You don't even have to tell them you can't afford it. Just go on in there, and you're all set.
I think people are shocked a little bit. I think people are kind of stunned that this service doesn't come with a price tag to it.
That is what a great program.
CAC is student driven, and whatever it takes to allow for that to happen, we are willing to go that mile.
We're going to take a short break. When we come back, I think that the Christmas tree board is lighting up again, Joe. We'll take some more calls. You're listening to CAC Live on CAClive.com.
Are you ready to start taking control of your future and maximize your earning potential? Central Arizona College has smaller class sizes and personalized attention to help you compete in today's tough job market. CAC now serves Santan Valley and Queen Creek. The CAC Santan Center is located in the shops at Copper Basin on Hunt Highway, behind Barrow's Pizza. Stop in and see how taking classes at CAC costs a fraction of a state university, and your credits can transfer. So, if you want to earn real money, you need to learn real skills at Central Arizona College. Enroll in classes today by calling 480-677-7825 or visit www.centralaz.edu or call 480-677-7825 or visit www.centralaz.edu. Central Arizona College, your college, your way.
This is Mike McCord. I would like to serve as your Pinal County Supervisor, District Number 2. With zero opportunities for error, I understand the needs of one of the fastest growing communities in the United States. This is where my experience and education come into play. I hold a master's degree in business administration and have worked as an operations manager for a paramedic service, as well as currently serve as the executive director for a public charter school in Pinal County. Vote for me, Mike McCord, on August 28, 2012.
Mike McCord leading the way. This message was paid for by the Mike McCord for County Supervisor Committee.
All right, we are back with CAC Live. I just want to do a quick shout out to my good friend out there, CAC Dan, who fills in occasionally here for Tom D. Camillo. Always does a fantastic job. Again, I just want to say hey out there. I know he's listening, so hope you're having a good day.
He'll be doing the two of the shows at the end of the month while I'm away, and he's got some good guests that he's going to be bringing in. One from his EIT program, so we'll get that squared away. But we're talking with Barrington Campbell about the learning support services at Central Arizona College, and Joe, give the number out again because we've been getting a lot of calls. I know you've had to skip some people because you've gotten so many calls, but the lines are open right now.
480-745-1033. And if you are the fifth caller right now, you don't win a thing. But you can talk to Tom.
It's we've been talking about the learning support services. Are there other things that you guys obviously tutoring is a big, the testing area. What else encompasses, or you talk about some of the staff? Obviously, you have a tremendous staff that's dedicated. Why don't you talk about some of them?
Oh, our staff are very, very good. I'm very proud of them. They do a fantastic job. We have Tamanushka Fuller, Dr. Fuller, who is our associate director at SMC. She brings a wealth of information. As a matter of fact, she was our math and science learning support specialist before she got promoted. We have Sylvia Vega, who just came on board, but she's whipped up the writing program tremendously great, and that's how we were able to even hit that 96% for this spring. And we have Diana Curtis, who is our reading specialist, and she has started a wonderful program. She's revamped our brush up program in the reading environment. She worked very closely with the reading division, and I'm a little hesitant to put out the numbers on the revamp for students who come in to do brush up, who are going to take the placement test, but it has risen tremendously of the success that we've seen so far. But we haven't had enough data for me to say, okay, this is the trend. So I'm waiting for that. We have Devin Fraley, who is also a new hire, came on last year, who is now our math and science learning support specialist. And he's doing a tremendous, wonderful job with the math and science area. And of course, we have Audrey Sexton, who is our technology learning specialist. And she works with all our technology services and work with the technology, the IT, and the computer services throughout the college.
Are there certain times of the year that you get bombarded, I guess midterms and close to, I guess, finals week, that you just get bombarded with requests?
Oh yes. And one thing that we've implemented to help ease that rush or ease student anxiety of doing tests, we have what we call Super Sundays, because we're not normally open on Super Sundays, but during midterms and finals, we have our Super Sunday where we have our hours of operation goes from like 12 until 6, so students have that extra time, I think, the week before finals to get that extra help if they need it.
Joe got another call, and I think he's got another question from the audience.
Actually, apparently, you're very well known out there, because that was John from Casa Grande who said, "Is that who I think it is?" He said, "Tell him I said hey, and I'll see him soon."
Hey, John.
Are there times of the year that are obviously you see a drop off, but that maybe students could benefit by coming in then? Or is it just steady year round for you guys?
It's really steady throughout the year. It really is. The only time we see a drop-off is when school is not in session. And we still have students who do come in. They may have some makeup to do in some of the classes, or they may be prepping for the upcoming semester. Right now, before the summer began, we have a influx of students who came in who are going to be doing summer school. They wanted to see what the campus was like. They know what we do, and they know what classes they were taking, so they come and ask us a lot of questions.
A question I hear a lot from students that are not familiar with it is the Blackboard component. Explain to people what that is and how the tutoring and your support learning support services interact with that.
Well, the Blackboard component, it's basically a platform that we use to talk with students or discuss issues with students or answer students' questions. And each student is, once they're in the program, say a math or writing course or English course, they're automatically enrolled into Blackboard. And so we use either this discussion board to talk with them. They may have answers or something like that. They'll put it to us, and we'll be able to communicate.
And that platform, obviously 20 years ago, that's not really a way to, but today it's got to be a way to really help, especially students that are working. And at a community college, a lot of them will hold some full-time jobs, and they're trying to go to school.
Oh, yes. And that's why the online component is so important right now, because a lot more students are taking a lot more online classes, and we have to make those online classes available. And, of course, any class that we make available or have, we should have that support, and that's what CAC does.
When you look at your experiences over the years, and you kind of look at the challenges that students have, and then what are some of the biggest challenges do you think they have? And then ultimately they come to you guys for help. Is there like a specific subject area that you see a greater need in? Or is it just a skill that there's a greater need in? Or is it really just everything?
It varies. It varies. And one thing I can say, you're always going to have students that say, "Oh, I can't do math." It's not that they can't do it. It's just I find it challenging. Or I don't know how to write. Those are the things. But it's not like that, again, they can't do it. It's just that they find it challenging, or they just haven't hit that certain, way of thinking about that mindset. And they'll come in, and we'll try to basically, again, address them on use a holistic approach in addressing their needs. So it's not just grammar, but how to think about the subject area.
Does that go back to what you said toward the beginning of the show? Is one of your roles is to give them the confidence?
Yes.
And that kind of triggers the snowball effect you've talked about. Joe, you got another call.
I do. Ray from Coolidge says he is has been extremely against getting a tutor because he has been afraid, since he is so challenged in math, that if he gets a tutor and still fails, does he get charged after the fact?
Yeah. No, first of all, you can succeed. You have to have the mindset, or change that mindset. We do not think about failure. We think about the success. And then we start with the process of a systematic process of getting to the end result, which is being successful. And to answer the second part of that question is, no, you don't get charged, because, again, it's free. But, don't be afraid to start.
I think Ray needs to change his mindset here. Ray goes to CAC, he said, but he's thought about he's failed several times the same math class. So,
but the help is here for him.
You need a tutor, Ray. Let's get right on that.
He can come to us. Remember, it's not just people who are challenged in a given subject area that comes to us. People that are getting A's and B's, who are dominating a class, if you will, do come to us and use us.
But I think your message is right there, is that's an individual that there's help available.
Yes.
There's no charge for them. Do you think there's a certain amount of fear of coming to tutors?
Of course, because over time, people used to say, okay, if you see a tutor, you're not that bright, which is, again,
So it's a stigma that
Yeah,
a
it
little
is a
bit?
stigma.
Well, he's been
It
going
is
for
stigma.
two years, he said, and didn't even know you had a tutoring program.
Oh, we advertise,
Guys,
and we do go into the classes, so I'm not sure.
They grade
I mean,
Well-
he may have, we may have, I'm not going to,
No.
say it's him, but we may have failed in that capacity of reaching him, and we try to reach out to everyone.
Well,
and
I think we're reaching people right now perfectly. That's great.
Well, I think there's also people are so it goes back to they go to school and they're so tied with other lives.
Then they
that
run
they're
to work,
and they
then
run
they
to
run
work
home,
and they kind
right.
of miss, and that's why there's elements like this. But I know that there's a ton of advertising that you guys. So we encourage him to call. We'll give the number again that if he needs.
520-494-5570.
See, and that's a perfect example of the ability to make that connection with the community. I think that also. Do you think that people are? Do you think that? Well, there is the fear. Maybe. Do you think there's some embarrassment that they feel I need a tutor? I should be able to do this myself.
Well, I can't speak to what they feel, but I always encourage people to come see us.
So, I mean, I could see.
I'm amazed at the free tutor thing. I have to say, since we've been doing this show, I've learned so much about CAC. I am just, and I'm not saying this just to, grease you or anything there, Tom. But what a great school, great opportunity. My son is now enrolled he's going into 9th grade, so hopefully he's going to do well enough that he gets some free college at CAC.
It's the promise for the future
as
program
well.
which your children signed up for.
I mean, all the freebies that CAC does is just wonderful.
And he signed up for a CAC. That means he can stop on over if he needs us.
Yeah, because
Nice.
he could start taking the classes. Now, we have students that are taking class while they're in high school, the dual enrollment, the early college.
Yes.
They're all eligible for these tutoring services?
Yes, they are.
So for parents out there, if they're enrolling that probably is a good thing to at least make a contact to see what's available if I'm 15, 16, 17 years old. To come over and just kind of see, okay, what are the services? Because they're probably in the summer, I'm going to take a class and get credit, but they don't really think about how that could impact their GPA down the line.
And when students sign up to come to college and sometimes do an orientation, we do visit the orientation and let students know that we're there and we're there for them. When students do a walkthrough, with Lou Sanchez, they do stop at the learning centers and recognize, what we have to offer them.
The learning centers, what do they physically look like? Are there computers for them to use? There's people there? What's the kind of the makeup of it?
The makeup, yes, we do have computers that we use to assist students, and we have desks. It's just a regular, almost like a computer lab. Most of our centers look like a computer lab.
So especially for like a commuter student that's not living on campus and they need help, that's a good place for them to go to make a connection.
Right, and it's not just our areas is not just about tutoring. If a student has time between classes, they can come and hang out. They can check their email. They can do some research. They could even just come and hang out and read a book. It's a welcoming environment for everyone.
It's that's always I found a really important, because I was a commuter student, and I found those type of environments that made me have a connection to the institution, because I met people that were commuter students at the university I went to, and they never knew anything about the college because they went to class and went home. Mm-hmm. And I think they missed the experience, and you don't know where it can lead. So, Joe, you got another call.
Yes, we have Judy Brown from Toronto. They are moving down to Queen Creek and wants to know are music tutors available at this time at CAC?
At this time, we don't, but we will definitely find one if you need one.
And that's
well, there you go. I heard a lot of Canadians were moving out here to Queen Creek, but see, now that just
solidifies it.
That's right, solidifies it.
Sure, but that's a great question, because it kind of identifies maybe one person, and there may be multiple needs, especially with the campus being built here, and you have.
She's looking for a school.
And then you look at the EIT program that Dan Bush is taking over as a full-time professor. There's a whole other environment that's going to need some help.
Judy, CAC is the school you want to check out. I mean, phenomenal instructors. I know Dan Bush personally. I mean, you will definitely want to check out CAC, and it's very close to Queen Creek. So
You're listening to CAC Live. Tom D. Camillo, Joe Carrera. We have a few minutes left, and we're talking with Barrington Campbell, Director of Learning Support Services at Central Arizona College. And we've talked over the course of the hour. We've got a ton of phone calls, and there have been great calls about asking the different possibilities, the different avenues that you can explore at Central Arizona College and these services. But really, Barrington, we've talked for the whole hour, but the message comes down to you guys are there to help.
That we are. We're there to help. We're a welcoming environment. We love the students. Student success is our success. It may sound cliche, but we really live it. And like I said, we may have addressed this, where if we build a better nation, if we build an educated nation, we're better off for it.
When you look at that, do you ever have students come back after they've gone to universities or they're out in the working world, or do they ever come back and want to be tutors?
All the time, all the time. And a lot of times when a student start as a tutor at CAC, at Central Arizona College, and they move to, say, ASU, U of A, sometimes they stop. Right now, we have a student who is at NAU, Northern Arizona University. She's been tutoring for us all the way through her CAC career and her NAU career. She's a senior now, about to graduate. But every summer, she comes back and she tutors for us.
Wow. And see, it's just a tremendous impact that the college has on the community. Joe, I think you got another call. He's putting his headphones on. He's been doing a lot of writing today, and there's a lot of flashing lights on that board.
Yeah, no kidding, huh? Gina from Tucson wants to know, do you do spot tutoring? Because she doesn't need a tutor all the time. Just once in a while, or do you have to be a full-time, my word of the day, tutoree?
Yes, we do. We basically address the need of the student, because a lot of times student doesn't have to come with us. Once we meet with a student, we interview them, and we learn what their deficiencies are. And once we do that, sometimes a student may use us 1, 2, 3 times, or maybe come to us for some time. But our goal is to create that independent, self-directed learner. So if you just need to get over that hurdle, that's what we're there for.
I like what you said in the beginning. You basically want to drive your customers away, which is kind of a funny way to look at it. But in truth, is your biggest success if you had everybody, get everything they need and went on and had 100% success, and you didn't have any more people. Well, you're always going to have people because there's new ones coming up.
Right.
But it really is an interesting sort of way to look at it.
And you do form that relationship with the student, because like I said, some students are getting A's and they still come back and chat with us. We're sounding boards, and as students develop into better students, as lifelong learners, that's our goal.
And that's what the goal of Central Arizona College is. You hear the president talk about that all the time, having lifelong learners. Barrington, tremendous show. We really appreciate it. I want to give the number out again, 520-494-5570. That's 520-494-5570. Is there a website or an email address that people, if they had questions or can look up?
Oh, yeah. You can go to our regular Central Arizona College website and go under tutoring.
Under tutoring.
And you'll see all our information.
Okay, that's centralaz.edu. Look up tutoring, and it gives you an overview of the program, and just a great service at Central Arizona College throughout Pinal County for the community and students. Barrington, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. Tremendous show. And Joe, I know you've been busy there today.
That's all right.
It's next week. We're going to talk about library services with a new head of the library at Central Arizona College.
It's nice to always find out what people are really, really interested in, and when you hit a topic that's hot,
it's a good way. You have a Christmas tree for a board, is what you
yeah,
get,
that's right.
So for Barrington Campbell, for Joe Carrera, I'm Tom D. Camillo. Check us out next week. You've been listening to CAC Live on CAClive.com.
Are you experiencing computer problems? Is your computer running slow, bogged down with viruses and spyware? You need a reliable and knowledgeable, trustworthy computer service company.